My name is Ethan, and at 39, I thought I had it all. I was married to Laura, a vibrant and ambitious woman, and together we had 3 beautiful children, Jack, Emma, and Lily. Our life in the suburbs seemed like a dream come true. I worked as a software developer, which allowed me the flexibility to be an active part of our children's lives. Laura, on the other hand, had a demanding job at a high-profile marketing firm, which she was passionate about. Our family life was a series of joyful routines. Mornings began with chaotic yet heartwarming breakfasts, with cereal splatters and hurried goodbyes. Evenings were filled with homework, bedtime stories, and the comforting hum of family life. But slowly, things began to change. Laura started coming home later and later, often citing work emergencies or late-night meetings. At first, I didn't think much of it. Laura was dedicated to her career, and I admired that. But as the late nights became more frequent, a gnawing feeling of unease began to settle in my gut. One evening, Laura came home particularly late. She was distant, her eyes avoiding mine, and there was a tension in the air that I couldn't ignore. The following weekend, I decided to surprise her at work. I packed a picnic basket with her favorite foods, thinking we could have a romantic dinner on the rooftop of her office building. As I drove through the city, my excitement grew. But when I arrived at her office, the building was eerily quiet. Her office light was off, but I could hear faint laughter coming from the conference room. My heart pounded as I approached the door. Through the small window, I saw Laura and her subordinate, Mark, in a close, intimate embrace. They were oblivious to my presence, lost in their own world. The sight was like a punch to the gut. I stumbled back, feeling as if the ground had been pulled out from under me. My mind raced, unable to process the betrayal I had just witnessed. I left the building in a daze, my heart shattered into a million pieces. The drive home was a blur of tears and anguish. How could she do this to us? To our family? That night, as I lay in bed, the reality of the situation hit me like a tidal wave. Laura, the woman I had loved and trusted, was having an affair. When Laura came home that night, I confronted her. My voice was trembling with a mix of anger and heartbreak. "How long?" I demanded. Laura's eyes widened in shock, but she didn't deny it. She didn't even try to lie. Instead, she looked at me with a cold detachment that made my blood run cold. "Months," she said simply. "Mark and I have been seeing each other for months." I felt like I was drowning. "Why?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "I needed something more," she replied, her voice devoid of emotion. "Mark gives me that. I'm leaving, Ethan. I'm leaving you and the kids." Her words were like daggers, each one piercing deeper than the last. I watched in stunned silence as she packed her things and walked out the door, leaving me alone with our children. The life I had known was crumbling before my eyes, and I had no idea how to pick up the pieces. The days that followed Laura's departure were a blur of despair and confusion. I fell into a deep depression, overwhelmed by the weight of my heartbreak. The house felt empty, every corner a painful reminder of Laura's absence. I struggled to keep it together for the sake of our children. Their innocent faces were my only solace, their laughter a brief respite from the agony. Each day was a battle. I found myself barely able to function, going through the motions of daily life in a daze. My mind was constantly plagued by thoughts of Laura and Mark, by the betrayal that had torn our family apart. Nights were the hardest. The silence was deafening, amplifying my loneliness and despair. I lay awake for hours, haunted by memories of happier times. I began to isolate myself, withdrawing from friends and family. I was ashamed of my failure, ashamed that I couldn't keep our family together. I didn't want to burden anyone with my pain. I tried to mask my despair, putting on a brave face for the kids, but they could see through the facade. Jack, my oldest, often found me sitting alone, lost in thought. "Dad, are you okay?" he would ask, his eyes filled with concern. "I'm fine, buddy," I would lie, forcing a smile. But I wasn't fine. I was drowning in a sea of sorrow, and I didn't know how to save myself. One particularly bad night, I found myself standing in the kitchen, staring at a bottle of whiskey. I hadn't touched alcohol in years, but the pain was unbearable, and I was desperate for anything that might numb it. As I reached for the bottle, I heard a small voice behind me. "Dad!" I turned to see Emma standing in the doorway, her eyes wide with worry. "What are you doing?" she asked. In that moment, something inside me snapped. I put the bottle down and knelt to her level. "I'm sorry, Emma," I said, my voice cracking. "I'm so sorry." She wrapped her tiny arms around my neck, her innocence and love breaking through the walls I had built around my heart. "It's okay, Dad," she whispered. "We'll be okay." Her words were like a lifeline, pulling me back from the brink. I realized then that I couldn't afford to fall apart. My children needed me. They were my reason to keep going, my reason to fight through the pain. The next morning, I made a decision. I was going to be the father my children deserved. I was going to be strong for them, no matter how much it hurt. I started seeing a therapist, someone who could help me navigate the storm of emotions I was drowning in. Dr. Harper was a lifeline, guiding me through the darkness and helping me find a way to cope. Therapy wasn't easy. It forced me to confront my pain, my anger, my feelings of betrayal. But slowly, I began to find a sense of stability. I started to open up to friends and family, allowing them to support me in my time of need. My parents were a constant source of comfort, their unconditional love helping me find my footing. As the weeks turned into months, I began to rebuild my life, piece by piece. I focused on my children, pouring all my love and energy into them. We developed new routines, new traditions. We would have movie nights, build forts out of blankets, and spend weekends exploring parks and nature trails. Each day was a step towards healing. I also found solace in my work. I threw myself into projects, finding a sense of purpose and distraction in coding. My colleagues were supportive, understanding when I needed time off or a sympathetic ear. My boss, Mr. Thompson, was especially understanding, giving me the flexibility I needed to balance work and family life. Slowly, the fog of depression began to lift. I still had bad days, days when the pain was overwhelming, but I also had good days, days when I felt a glimmer of hope. I held on to those moments, using them as motivation to keep moving forward. My children were my guiding light, their love and resilience inspiring me to be the best father I could be. It was a sunny Saturday when our lives took an unexpected turn. I had taken the kids to the park, as we often did on weekends. They were playing on the swings, their laughter filling the air, when I noticed a woman sitting on a nearby bench, reading a book. She looked up and smiled, and there was something warm and inviting about her. After a while, the kids ran over to me, asking for a snack. I handed them their lunchboxes and noticed the woman again. She was now watching her own child play, a little girl about Emma's age. Our eyes met, and she smiled again. I felt an inexplicable urge to talk to her. "Hi, I'm Ethan," I said, approaching her with a friendly smile. "Hi, I'm Rachel," she replied, her smile brightening. We struck up a conversation, and it flowed effortlessly. Rachel was kind and understanding, and as we talked, I found myself opening up to her in a way I hadn't with anyone else. She told me about her own struggles as a single mother, and I shared my story with her. There was an instant connection between us, a sense of mutual understanding and support. Over the next few weeks, we started meeting at the park regularly. Our children became fast friends, and it wasn't long before Rachel and I began spending more time together, outside of our park visits. Rachel was a preschool teacher, and her warmth and patience were evident in everything she did. She had a way of making me feel seen and understood, and for the first time in a long time, I felt a glimmer of hope. Our friendship blossomed into something more, and soon we found ourselves falling for each other. Rachel brought joy back into my life, a light in the darkness. She loved my children as if they were her own, and they adored her in return. We began to build a new life together, creating new memories, new traditions. We would have family dinners, game nights, and weekend trips to the beach. Our home was once again filled with laughter and love. Rachel and I supported each other in every way possible. She was there for me during the difficult times, providing comfort and understanding. I did the same for her, helping her navigate the challenges of single motherhood. Our bond grew stronger with each passing day, rooted in trust, respect, and shared dreams. But just as life seemed to be falling into place, Laura reappeared. Her relationship with Mark had soured, and she wanted back into our lives. She claimed she missed the children and wanted to be a part of their lives again. But it wasn't just her presence that brought turmoil. Laura was determined to reclaim everything: our home, our children, our lives. She used her status and connections to launch a legal battle that left me reeling. Laura filed for custody of the children, claiming that I was unfit to provide for them. The legal battle was grueling, draining me emotionally and financially. Laura's status and connections gave her an unfair advantage, but I fought with everything I had. My love for my children was unwavering, my determination unyielding. The courtroom became a battleground, each hearing a test of my resolve. Witnesses were called, evidence presented. Laura's lawyer painted a picture of me as an unstable, incapable father, using my past depression and therapy against me. It was a relentless fight, but I had to believe that justice would prevail, that my love for my children would be enough. Rachel stood by my side, her support unwavering. Together, we faced each challenge, each setback. She encouraged me to stay strong, reminding me of the love and stability I provided for our children. We gathered testimonies from friends and family, highlighting the bond one had with my children and the efforts I had made to rebuild our lives. Dr. Harper testified on my behalf, explaining the progress I had made in therapy and the positive impact it had on my ability to be a father. The children's pediatrician also spoke in my favor, attesting to their well-being and happiness in my care. Each piece of evidence was a small victory, a step closer to securing my place in their lives. After months of turmoil, the tide began to turn. The judge saw through Laura's facade, recognizing the love and stability I provided for our children. The final ruling was in my favor: full custody. It wasn't just a victory, it was a validation of everything I had fought for, everything I believed in. The relief was overwhelming, the joy indescribable. We celebrated together, Rachel, the children, and I, our little family united in victory. The road ahead was still challenging, but we faced it together, stronger for the battles we had fought. With custody secured, I focused on healing, on rebuilding our lives. The children adjusted to the new arrangement, finding comfort in the stability and love we provided. Rachel and I continued to build our life together, creating a home filled with joy, with laughter. Rachel and I decided to buy a new house, a place where we could start fresh and build our lives together. We found a charming home on the outskirts of the city, surrounded by nature and tranquility. It was perfect for our little family. Moving in was a joyous occasion, filled with laughter and hope. We spent weekends decorating, making the house our own. Rachel and the children bonded over choosing paint colors and picking out furniture. It was a beautiful sight, seeing my children so happy and carefree. I felt a sense of peace that I hadn't felt in a long time. We hosted a housewarming party, inviting friends and family to celebrate our new beginning. The house was filled with laughter, the sound of children playing, and the warmth of loved ones. It was a reminder of how far we had come, a testament to our resilience. Of course, life wasn't without its challenges. Co-parenting with Laura was difficult, her bitterness and resentment often causing friction. But I was determined to make it work for the sake of our children. We set up a structured visitation schedule, ensuring that they had time with both parents. Rachel was a pillar of strength, always there to support me through the tough times. Her love and patience were unwavering, and I couldn't have asked for a better partner. Together, we navigated the complexities of blended family life, always putting the children's well-being first. As time went on, we found a rhythm that worked for us. Rachel and I balanced our careers with parenting, supporting each other in every way possible. We took turns with school drop-offs and pickups, attended parent-teacher conferences, and made sure the children had a rich and fulfilling life. We also made time for ourselves as a couple, nurturing our relationship amidst the busyness of daily life. We had date nights, weekend getaways, and quiet evenings at home, cherishing the love we had found. Our bond grew stronger, rooted in trust, respect, and shared dreams. I found a new sense of purpose in my work, diving into projects that challenged and inspired me. My career flourished, and I received recognition for my contributions. It was a stark contrast to the man I had been a few years ago, lost in the depths of despair. Rachel continued to thrive in her career as a preschool teacher, her passion for nurturing young minds evident in everything she did. We supported each other's dreams, celebrating each other's successes and providing comfort during setbacks. Emily, Jack, and Lily continued to thrive in the stable, loving environment we had created. They excelled in school, made friends easily, and were constant sources of joy and pride. Watching them grow and flourish was the greatest reward. Laura's presence in our lives had diminished over the years, her attempts to disrupt our happiness becoming less frequent. I had learned to let go of the anger and bitterness, focusing instead on the positive aspects of our lives. My children were my priority, and ensuring their happiness and well-being was my greatest goal. Looking back on our journey, I was amazed at how far we had come. From the depths of despair to the heights of happiness, our story was one of resilience and love. The trials we had faced had only made us stronger, more united. Rachel and I often reflected on our journey, grateful for the love and support we had found in each other. Our bond was unbreakable, forged in the fires of adversity. We were a team, partners in every sense of the word, and I couldn't imagine my life without her. Life has a way of surprising you when you least expect it. Despite the pain, the loss, and the betrayal, I had found happiness again. Rachel and I had built a new home, a new life, and our family was a testament to the power of love and resilience. In the end, I realized that sometimes it's the darkest moments that lead to the brightest new beginnings. We had faced the storm, weathered the pain, and emerged stronger, more united. Our family was a testament to resilience, to the power of love. And as we looked to the future, we did so with hope, with joy, with the knowledge that we could overcome anything together. Years passed, and our family continued to grow and flourish. We faced new challenges, but we faced them together, always stronger for the trials we had endured. Our home was filled with love, laughter, and the memories we had created. I often reflected on the journey that had brought us here, grateful for the love and support of those who had helped us along the way. My parents, who had been a constant source of comfort. Dr. Harper, who had guided me through the darkest times. Our friends, who had stood by us, offering their unwavering support. Rachel and I continued to build our life together, our bond growing stronger with each passing day. We faced the future